Hey everyone, today's video is about how different types of white actually behave with other colors. So initially we have in the beginning we have the Blue Ridge lead white, which is Cremnitz White, and in the second we have Flake White substitute, which is sort of like a replacement lead white. And this one is titanium mixed with some zinc, and this is also titanium, but I guess the zinc section would be much higher because it's replicating lead white. But here titanium quantity should be higher than this one, and this is pure titanium dioxide, and this one is Daniel Smith. And these two colors are from, this one is from Camlin, this is Indian brand, Flake White Hue, and this one is actually a Georgian. I don't use these two colors in my main paintings because they contain zinc, and zinc has been found to be detrimental to the life of oil paint as it enhances the aging. So I stopped using that. I'm going to share the link of Smithsonian Institute where they discuss that zinc is not good for oil paints. The lead white is better because it is an old tested thing, but I guess titanium dioxide is not that harmful as well. It's more these are like most commonly used. But anyway, let's check how they behave with the other colors. Here we have one transparent color and one opaque color, and we're going to test how all of these whites behave. So let's start with lead white. Now lead white is not cannot be found in India because it has been banned due to regulation and probably EU regulation, and so it's slightly more difficult to find, but you can import from US where they are still made, and this is such a beautiful thing, and it's great for oil paint. And it creates sometimes a very colorful tint, and sometimes when you use in ample quantity you can still cover areas. And this is history. I mean ever since the beginning, this is the only white that the artists had. So you can think about it while painting. Now you can see that the tint is quite colorful. It's not like a color killer like titanium dioxide. Now I'm going to use this cobalt teal. Colors can be seen with this sort of a white, but it will be more clear when I'm going to use titanium dioxide colors. So this is zinc white with titanium dioxide. Let's use a little bit more. Here the qualities of, or probably the hindrance of titanium dioxide is more clear. You can see how much color that I am using to reach that, but still titanium dioxide is influencing the mix, but due to the presence of zinc it's still very colorful rather than like a color killer like these two. Let's use this. Notice that the value is not different. I mean, this is just pure cobalt teal, there is no white in it, but here value is slightly increased, which is the kind of quality lead whites have, and it's a marvelous color for glazing. Now let's add a little bit of oil. The titanium, due to the presence of titanium dioxide, I guess these colors are a little bit stiffer, and there might be some other components as well, but this is pure flake white, and you can see that how transparent this is. And even when there is a presence of zinc, it's still whiter than this color, but somewhat replicating the qualities of lead white, this flake white hue. Now I'll be using this color. This is Georgian student grade color, but I use this because during the lockdown there were no whites available in the beginning, so I thought it's better to buy this one, because since this was available and I used it in the past. So I use zinc colors on rigid surfaces rather than on flexible supports like canvas. I use them for panels and stuff like that, but you can see there is a clear difference. The titanium dioxide is influencing. Let's just tint them a little bit more, but here the colors are thicker, heavier, opaque, very strong presence. You can see there is a heaviness going on, but there is still the presence of PW4, that is the zinc oxide. Now I'm again using the cobalt teal and use the more titanium, less zinc option, and you can see what happens in the opaque color. Opaque color becomes more transparent and more opaque and less colorful. All of these, I mean, the transparent colors seem to be working well with the whites, and they are producing more colorful results. Whereas even with the lead white, the colors are becoming more bluish in nature, whereas these colors have retained their greenish nature. Now let's use PW6, this color. This is Daniel Smith's original oil color. They have another variant which is similar to this perhaps, which has zinc in it, but this one is, I don't know if you can see it. It shows there that it contains only PW6. The tube is a little dirty, so I guess this doesn't have the, as far as I can tell, looking at the label, that it doesn't contain any zinc. And major brands are now looking into this theory, and probably in some years time there will be very little zinc in oil painters palette. The reason I don't have the zinc oxide here as an oil paint, because I am not going to use them in any way. And these are the colors. This is something that I use for plein air studies, because this is what I get in a box set, and box set colors I use them for plein air painting. So let's use this color, and I use this for more studio paintings and flake white, and this I used out of necessity. So you can see straight away it's very tough. Let's use a bit of oil, more pigment, no zinc, and this is extremely strong. Let's use this color. You can see there is a quite a big difference there. As soon as the titanium dioxide came in, pure titanium, it bleached out the color. Now you sense the bleaching here somewhat with the opaque colors, but here the transparent colors has been bleached out. So that is like the superpower, but this is not a problem. I mean, people get confused about whether to use this or that because this is being so much powerful. But you can use this color sparingly. I mean, for example, if you have this transparent color and you need maybe something like this, you use less of it and still can produce a similar color like this. It's the same value, so you use it less and save more. That's how it goes. Now let's see how does this color behave with opaque paint. So this is opaque paint. I'm going to use titanium dioxide, and it's going to bleach the color more than any of these. It's whiter than anything. This is reaching towards white quite clearly. I'm going to use a bit more oil there. Yeah, so you can see that this color, there is a gradual transition. This is like the most transparent color. Check the differences. This is slightly more opaque, slightly more, and this is like a giant leap, and this one is like a huge difference even compared to this one, when titanium dioxide is more in this one, and this is like pure titanium. So when you are using this color, you use less. When you need body, you need to use this color more and use this color less. So that's how a painting can be made. Now let's look at the qualities of all of these colors. Yeah, now I'll be looking at these colors individually, how they behave with on their own and with some oil. And this is the most oily, I mean the Flake White or Cremnitz White. But when you're, it's surprising. I mean, when you're using very little, it is easier to glaze with. You can see how transparent this color is. But when you start building up the surface, it starts to cover, but not up to that extent. It's not like titanium white. It's not going to become a color killer, but not going to cover greatly until unless you mix it with any of these colors. But this is still can cover up, but it's a great transparent color. When you need to glaze with white, you don't do this with any of these, you do it with this. You can see how transparent that is. It's almost very oily. So when you need to create atmosphere, you use this color, and you haven't created one, so you use this color to create the atmosphere. So let's just add a little bit of oil and let's see how does it behave with oil. So this is oily, and it becomes more and more oily. It's going to drip. So this has enough oil in it, so no need to put extra. You just use transparent colors to create your glazes, and it's going to drip. So I'm just going to wipe it a little. Now let's go to this color, which is the Flake White Hue. Let's see how transparent this is. Now I have used zinc in the past, so I know how transparent it is. And this is not zinc white, this is Flake White Hue, so it has got titanium dioxide, and you can see straight away that it's opaqueness. It's very opaque. but can also be used for a slight amount of glazing. It creates weaker films, and when it dries it becomes very brittle. Now I've noticed this with one of my paintings, and I removed them from the stretcher, and it was a good painting, but you can see it still retains the opaqueness. It's not like a direct replacement, and this is like more going towards blue, and this is still retaining the color of the underneath surface. This is going towards blue more easily. Let's add a little bit of oil to this color. Let's see if it becomes more transparent. Yeah, it's going to become more transparent. So this is like an imitation of this color, because this is not available everywhere these days because of regulations. In Europe there are regulations, in India there are regulations, only in US they are still using this, and some areas in China they're producing this, as I've understood. Now let's use this titanium, more titanium, less zinc, and let's see how does it behave. Okay, so you can see that this is retaining the same quality, not anything like that. And I can see it directly that this is much more warmer than these two colors, and these are going straight away to blue, and this one is more opaque, even though it contains some amount of zinc. Let's see if it is possible to do some glazes. I think we can when we are using very little of it, but it still has more titanium dioxide, because this is sort of like an easy to handle titanium dioxide. It contains zinc, so it's a bit more difficult to use it on its own as a glazing color. I mean, just you need to use a touch of it, which is like not very useful. But I'm going to use a bit more oil to this. But not much of a glazing color compared to that. So I don't use this color anymore, but it was pretty common in my palette earlier, but a lot of people still use it, and a lot of brands still make it. So, but since it contains zinc, I've stopped using it. Okay, so now I'm going to use it, and you will see a huge difference compared to any of these, and that is the stiffness. It's like super stiff, and I like stiff colors. Some people don't. Some people like movable paint. I like stiff colors, and if I need, I'll add just a little oil to make them movable. But this color is a real deal for me. And you can see that it's very difficult to use it as a glazing medium. Maybe as a dry brush application might do it more, make it more useful, rather than using it as a glazing medium. This is not a glazing color. It's better not to use opaque colors for glazing. It's better to use them for dry application like this. And so the surface is smoother, but I'm still showing how to use it. And very little amount of paint here. I got a lot of paint, but you use a little, so there are hits and misses into the surface like this, and you will use it as a glazing medium to some degree. So opaque colors, dry brush, and transparent colors on their own, and give them a good wipe to create glazes on a surface. So this is like heavy stuff. Let's look at it in mass tone perhaps. I still got those phthalo colors in it. but it's very heavy and I can build up the surfaces. I don't need to use any kind of those mediums that bulk up the surface. I mean, this is already working for me. You can see there are ridges if I need to create one, but I don't work that stiffly on surface. Slightly, maybe a little more. I don't work that stiff on surface, but still it is going to do that job pretty well. It's slightly more difficult with these two, and lead white is used for that purpose, and because it was the only white at that time, but you may need to add a little bit more impasto medium for that purpose, but this one is great for that. So I use titanium. I don't know what are the detrimental or maybe the problematic things in titanium for an oil painting, but so far everybody has used it, so it's better to use this one, pure titanium, rather than having zinc element into it. And lead white, since it's being rare and since it's slightly more on the transparent side, and painting processes have changed since latter part of the 20th century, so it's better that you use this color and use this color for glazing, etc. And if you can merge the two or buy paint mix, proprietary mix with lead white, a mix of lead white and titanium dioxide, it's also useful because you get qualities of both, the toughness of this felt as well as the opaqueness of titanium dioxide. So I guess I've been able to convey the differences between the lead white and zinc mixed titanium dioxide and pure titanium. So while you'll be painting, you can make your choice which one is best for you, because these colors, the zinc ones, can carry a lot of colorful elements. I mean, they can convey, you can see that these colors are these mixes are more colorful compared to pure titanium, but you can still mix that and save some money because you're going to use less of it. But there are many different aspects to painting, so you can choose your white accordingly. Since the problems of zinc have been found by institutes, now it's better to avoid them, and even if you have to use them, better use it on a rigid surface like a panel rather than on a flexible support. But flexible support is not that great for oil painting. It has never been, because when oil painting dries, it becomes a tough surface. It's unmovable. It's not like acrylic color, which is more flexible. So oil paint becomes tough. So it's better to paint on a rigid surface rather than on a very movable surface. But sometimes you have to, because there is no other way. If you have to shift the painting and it's extremely large, you cannot paint them on a panel. So there is no option. So you better use the colors that are not going to create problems for future. If you have any comments, then please let me know. If you like this video, then please click the like button and also subscribe for future videos. Also remember to click the bell icon so that you get notified when a new video has been uploaded. And be sure to check out my website www.customandfineart for more paintings, and take care.